Apart from that, we are present in other 48 countries of the world. Not officially launched, but we are there, and then soon will be more than 60,000 members than what we are today. So we are 4,600 as on today. So point I'm making is, in these groups, there is an activity which is happening wherein a purchase manager is asking for help, wherein he very straight away writes, where can I get this? And there is somebody else who is promoting that. Now what we do is, we are creating a database of all of that, wherein the group like Coimbatore, I'll give you Patna, we have Bhopal, we have Indore, Ahmedabad, Pune. So there are different groups wherein people are talking to each other, and wherein a specialized product comes out of that, wherein you understand that, okay, this is coming. Like we recently have introduced a Northeast. So that's not active yet, because there are very few purchasing managers there. But 2 years ago, when I went and visited Shillong, I realized that the beautiful ginger, or
I think you had gone for the slow food fair.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I went in there. So there I realized that this place is not marketed well. Product hai wahan par, but they don't know how to sell, or the government is not really bothered, or their consumption is equivalent or more than the production. So there has to be something.
Yeah, no, I don't. Of course, consumption is very high, but it's like, say in Uttarakhand, they were producing temur. Now, came the COVID, and suddenly, all the Chinese restaurants were looking for alternatives to Sichuan pepper. Yes. And they found temur in Uttarakhand is better, is as good, if not better, than Sichuan pepper. Correct. So suddenly Uttarakhand has become now a major producer and supplier of temur or Sichuan pepper, Yeah. So just because it's called Sichuan pepper, we say, it must be very good.
Naam hai na, brand.
Exactly.
On the same lines, we have a gentleman called Sunil Kothari. He's based in Uttarakhand, and Sunil is an ex-HPMF member who went to Uttarakhand, and now he's helping the local communities. So that seed which we had planted, now
what's his name?
Sunil Kothari. So what Sunil does is, now he's gone back to the village, and there is something called Palayan in Hindi, wherein the people had left the Uttarakhand and they run away from the place because they didn't have anything to do. Neither job, nor business, no food, nothing. So what he's done is, he's gone back and he's created something called, Konsa Booty? So he's created this Kothari Samiti, and under that Kothari Samiti, now what he does is, there is something called Jangli Booty and Bichu Booty, and he started getting that, collecting that, and he's got a beautiful, nice business for the local women there.
This Bichu Booty, when Chef Gordon Ramsay used to talk about fiddlehead ferns, the whole world paid £100 for a fiddlehead ferns.
That's an expensive.
There's a Bichu Booty in Uttarakhand, which Chef Gordon Ramsay used to market as fiddlehead ferns.
And it's grown here in Uttarakhand. Just imagine that. So now this person, he's not just trained about over 2,000 women in Uttarakhand, but on a weekly basis, he trains them. He goes there physically, does a 2-hour session with them. And what a beautiful concept, wherein everybody else now has started coming out. The men, if they are out, they have started getting some money there. The women are busy. There is a less depression which was there. They were worried. But I'm thankful to HPMF that a thought like that came in, and Sunil has taken to the next level. And
that's very important. In fact, developing local economies is part of sustainability. If everyone just leaves their hometowns and villages because there are no jobs available, that reflects poorly on the country.
Absolutely.
And the state of the economy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even if they earn 200 rupees per day now, this woman, but they're so happy that there is 200 rupees which is coming in now, which instead of 0 which was there, now it started coming in. When we went, Goel Saab and I went to Uttarakhand to launch that program about 6 months ago, and it was so beautiful environment that the villagers came in, they honored us as if we did something different. We just told them that you have this product and you need to market yourself. Now Sunil is coming up with several ideas. He's got a local politician who's supporting the thought, and now he's going and teaching. So not just created this bichu booty, but he got some mushrooms, local mushrooms out.
Mushroom has become very big in Uttarakhand.
हाँ.
You know.
Acha. हाँ.
In fact, you know, interestingly, we talk about foraging, foraging, you know, whatever. In Uttarakhand, they've just launched a mushroom survey. Sorry, in Himachal Pradesh. It's the first time in anywhere in the country that doing a mushroom survey to find out what are the kinds of mushrooms that are available. The whole world is talking about foraging, but we have everything right in our corner. And Lalitji, anything you want to add to this? You know?
Actually, in Uttarakhand, the kiwis and the guchi, which used to come from Afghanistan before and was not made in India, now guchi is also being done in a big tape. That's also kind of
Guchi
mushroom.
used to come from Jammu, but people used to pass it off as some exotic mushroom or fungus, sort of morels. They used to call it morels and pass it off as a...
Right. Now upper hills are all doing kiwi and lot of guchi is coming from there.
So, I think one of the great, benefits of this whole COVID thing is that suddenly everyone has started looking inwards, and we are discovering that there is a whole world out here in India. It reminds me of a very famous chef once said about India, that how can a big country like India not have every possible ingredient that you're looking for? He says, the world is talking about insects. In fact, insect protein is a very big thing. Now in Canada, in America, it's become the big, very upmarket, fashionable thing. Well, insect protein has been part of the diet of Chhattisgarh for ages. Again, it took Gordon Ramsay to discover the red ant achar that they have in Chhattisgarh for it to become fashionable all over the world. So we always wait, like Ayurveda became fashionable once it went to America. So it's like that. That's a tragedy. But coming to Dr. Goel, to you, what in your in the last 3 months or 6 months, what are the big discoveries you have made locally, which you'd like to share with others?
Okay, one interesting one is which is very recent, since you mentioned about a recent one. We have a Korean restaurant called Han's Kitchen, and our partner is all this lady is also Korean. Very difficult to get Korean stuff here, and we always used to get struggle like sushi rice, black rice, and we had shown her rice which is from Uttarakhand and all that, didn't work out. Finally, whatever it happens, it grows in great number in northeast. Finally,
in Manipur, I think.
Manipur. And she is so happy. We have been using for last 4-5 months. It happened during COVID time when we were having problems with the imports. And she is very happy, half the cost. And we are able to introduce this partner now who is also motivated, who is working, trying to source us other ingredients. So since we are a food company, so our development more is around organic or import substitution. So this is something very recent. And another very interesting thing is we had gone to Coimbatore once, for some HPMF event, and on an event like this, on a corner small table, there was a guy sitting there with some sauces there. So I was interacting with him, and later on I realized that that guy he lived in Japan, and he has got set up a factory in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, and he processes soya sauce of Japanese standard and exports entirely to Japan. And India imports entire soya sauce from China, Singapore, Thailand, right? So we are working with them to, kind of find a substitute. In fact, so much so that I have told my importer guy, if you don't do it, better you do it with him, or I will do it. So, it's quality and those kind of things, but it requires a lot of pain, a lot of efforts. It doesn't come easy. You will have to interact and collaborate your chefs, convince them that we are not compromising on quality, but it requires a lot of teaching, lot of education. So that much of effort and that much of pain purchasing fraternity community will have to take to make it happen. The local, vocal for local, otherwise it's going to be just a phrase, but if we have to really implement it on shop floor, there is plenty in this country, right? And I think time has come. The COVID has taught us a lot of things. This is one of them.
vocal for local, I think, has become a practical, issue because of COVID. I think suddenly everyone is talking about budget controls, and what best way to control your budget than to just source locally, as you said. What is the point of importing bamboo from Bali when it's growing in the northeast, in Mizoram, or as you'll see here, in Manipur or Assam, Mr. Kapoor, I wanted to, we have of course heard a lot about food, but I want to come back to projects. What are the new developments or new sustainable techniques or products that you have discovered in the last 1 year, 6 months, or?
When we were doing projects 30 years ago, 25 years ago, you were there in the Brois. If we would see our BOQs, and we had a list of imported items, and if we would do ABC analysis of those items, 80%, 70% items were all being imported at that time. All big hotels. There were no 3-star hotels, only 5-star hotels, and everyone was importing most of the items, cut and paste list. It was set for the chefs to say, I want only this equipment, I don't want alternative. Italian products were negated, German were on. Right now, if we go through the same list, I am very pleased to say that the latest hotel we have done, there has been 90% indigenization, 90%. There are some little items, tidbits here, which also we try to develop. Sometimes we are able to develop part. For example, let's say the laundry, 100% laundry was supposed to be imported before. So we worked very closely with Indian laundry companies, and we said, these are the hiccups of the laundry managers. They don't want a lot of noise. They want running of the machine 24 hours. Your drumwood should not give up. The heaviness of the machine, small things. We don't want the laundry manager to cut corners anywhere. So can you develop the machine to this standard? It has taken, believe you me, 7 to 8 to 9 years for us to work with them. The machine is out. Now we are using all Indian laundry here with all the 5-star hotels. There are very few machineries still, that we need to import. Like I just said, some hotels I did 20 years ago where they wanted cheaper marble. So I went to Egypt to get marble from Egypt. Everyone said, you guys are fools. Who uses Egyptian marble? No one uses it. I said, okay, but there are no budgets. It was a project in Calcutta. So we went, we sourced, that was used. The landed cost of the marble from Egypt was still 75 rupees. When we did Ananda here, after that, the budget was half. So we said, what to do? We can use only Udaipur Green, which is 30 rupees. Today, Ananda was rated world number 1 for 5 years in a row. It is your labor skills which will lay that product well and bring you and make it to equivalent to 600 rupees marble. It is your skill which is available here, but we will not pay them.
Ours is the land of Taj Mahal, we talk about marble, we know it better than anyone else,
Absolutely. So, what I mean to say is, the nature has given our body a natural control that, we breathe, we exhale. So, we can breathe to a limit, we can exhale to a limit. Someone can do it for a minute and a half, maximum, maybe Ramdev. But we can do it only for a few seconds, But in our industry, we need to create that system, is very important. If we have that check in our project time, in our operations, that we only use the products which will not exhale lot of emissions, carbons, unnatural product which you can't, biodegradable, they are not biodegradable. So that check has to be inbuilt in the system, like nature has given in our body. That is what we need to do for our hotels, for our hospitality, in operations as well as in projects. It's very, very important. I think we need to develop that.
So Nitin, why don't you sort of round up and conclude the session? What are the big takeaways,
You know what I would do, Suresh, is most important that sustainability is not an option. Being eco-friendly is not an option. It has to be made mandatory. Everybody will have to ensure that they are responsible and then they follow it. So for me, the takeaway is do it yourself first and ensure that somebody else doesn't do it wrong. Do not allow any wrong product or any adverse product into the organization, because the purchasing professionals are the ones who are gatekeepers. They are the ones who receive the product. They are the ones who are, you know, able to influence the buyer, influence the user. So we from HPMF, we will ensure that from our side, we will have only what is right. We'll do only what is right. We'll ensure that the product which is not supposed to be there will not be there. Vendors who are right, who are able to do it, will be developed. So when I was talking about vendor development, so we help a lot of new supply partners. We especially, and I'm really proud that we have Dr. Sanjay Goyal here, Mr. Lalit Kapoor here. These are the pioneers. These are the people who have got hundreds of vendors in the industry. Starting from people who came from different corners of the world, and specifically India, wherein the local suppliers, they were told how do you do business, because everybody has an intention to do business in the hospitality industry. They consider that it's difficult. So, and I'm really happy that I've got two stalwarts, Mr. Jairaj Singh, Mr. Kaushik Jingan. These are the people who are sitting here, who got hundreds and thousands of suppliers to the hospitality industry, who are now serving, who are helping the industry to take the level of service to the next level. Cost of economics have gone down, and also which has helped an apt product has got into the industry. So my takeaway will be, one, from my side, we will ensure that we follow it diligently. We will also ensure that all of us will help each other. We'll also ensure that we become more proactive rather than reactive, and also make sure that the industry is supported somehow from our act, and not just it's a thought or it's an idea, but proactively, practically it's implemented. So I would take it as a takeaway from.
I think you sort of summarized the whole idea, the philosophy behind this session. I think as you know, Dr. Goyal just said a little while back, going vocal for local is not a slogan. Now it's a necessity, you know. Yeah, and it's a necessity which all of you will feel once you see the balance sheets, you know, or once your owners will start saying that, you know, budget kam karo, kharcha zyada ho raha hai, you know. So going local for vocal for local will become a fact of life, a necessity of life. So let's you know, do that seriously, and it's so good that Mr. Kapoor to hear that you're doing so much work in terms of vendor development, you know. I think from bricks, we should start thinking of a hotel from the bricks that are going, you know, sort of last thoughts on that, you know.
The bricks are already gone from the new hotels. We have hollow structure now in, which saves the energy, air conditioning. The walls are all hollow walls now. All the big projects do not use any bricks anywhere. So we try that these hollow blocks are also made on site. There are very, very small plants which have come up now. You know, earlier there were no factories. So what we do is, if it's a bigger project, you have a hollow block plant, and if there is a where you get ash, you know, all these what is it? The plant, the electricity plant, which will give you the ash, which is free. The hollow blocks are made out of that ash.
Fly ash.
Fly ash.
Yeah, exactly.
So if the fly ash is available around, that's a boon, because then you are at zero. I mean, you only have to spend labor, that's it.
And that fly ash actually is a pollutant, you know.
It is a pollutant.
So you're recycling.
But now that's being used to create hollow blocks, which in turn have made sure that the bricks are out. The bricks were spoiling the top earth of the which is vegetable, the vegetation which grows on the earth. It was spoiling all that earth. So the brick system now is used only for small houses and this, and over a period of time I think that's going to go also. Likewise, there are n number of items, you know, in projects which we have tried to develop, and we are working very closely with the interior designers also to propose, because they are the people who influence the owners, you know, initially. They want to see this wow product and within our budgets. Now when it comes to product and budget, there's a huge variation. So that's where the material manager, the purchasing manager's role and his efforts to bring in the alternative products will actually come in.
I think, as more and more owners, as we heard in the previous 2 days, they're moving from the return on ego to return on investment, I think we'll talk, more and more people will talk about these things. They'll expect these things,
Just an example.
Right.
This only project day before yesterday, the interior designer proposed the cost of the project as about 750 crores.
Wow.
The owner was agreeing to the budget of 400 crores. And when we sat down and we worked on alternative products, we sat down till about 12 o'clock at night and worked on item to item with interior designer. It has come to 360 crores.
Wow. Okay.
So now we'll do that project for 360 crore, which is much lower than even the budget of the owner. So this is where your material manager really can do wonders,
So, Mr. Goel, last thoughts, and then we'll wrap up.
All right.
Some, light bite foods, anything light and bites? How
Yeah,
are we making the bites lighter?
Yeah, there's a lot of brightness at Light Bite. One is that, there's a very clear mandate. So there is no confusion whether we want to go organic or, sustainable or we don't. So there's a mandate is very, very clear from the, yeah. And second thing, as Nitin said, what is important down the line. So mandate has come. Down the line, how do you influence? That depends on their purchasing fraternity, purchasing supply chain guys have to become a catalyst that, why and how it is important. So I think that, once we have the mandate and what is also important that, we should understand is task is not easy. That requires a lot of research, that requires a lot of detailing, right? And once you have done your research and detailing, and then you reach out to your internal customer, and then you say, this is what is a product, these are the benefits, whether cost benefit or reduces the carbon footprint, it is accepted. For example, one important thing around water, I will not take the name of the brand, we were using imported water, right? It was again in glass bottle, but it was coming from other country. I said, why? Why can't we use, at least if not anything else, we will reduce the carbon footprints, right? So that's where I think Light Bite is a lot of things we are trying to do, develop regional partners so that goods don't travel from one city to other city. And mandate is very clear. So next year is going to be complete focus. Next couple of months we are kind of developing a complete sustainable policy. What are the early wins we can do? There's a lot happening around organic waste management. There's a lot happening around water conservation, what we can do. And what is good thing is supply chain is leading this within the company. So, and that's where the mandate has come very clearly from the management side.
Great, so it's not only hotels, when we think of purchase managers, we only think of hotels. But what's happening today is that restaurants have become big chains, You're all over, you're multi-city, multi-brand, multi-outlet operations, if you do anything in the field of sustainable sourcing, you have a real deep impact, and that is what is so important. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. You really made it a very enlightening discussion, Sushmita.
Thank you so much, Suresh. I will have to completely agree that this is a very thought-provoking and very enterprising session, and we have lots to take away. Thank you so much, our distinguished speakers, for sharing so much information with us. With that, we conclude this session. Just to make this moment a little more memorable, we'd like to present memento to our distinguished speakers. And may I request Suresh sir to kindly present the memento to our esteemed speakers. May I request Dr. Madhu Chandok to kindly join us onto the stage. Very warm welcome to you, ma'am. We're presenting a memento to Dr. Nitin Shankar Nagrale. A memento to Dr. Sanjay Goel. Also, our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Lalit Kapoor for sharing his thoughts and his experience with us. Can we all put our hands together and thank the speakers of the session? May I request the members of the head table to kindly come forward for a group photograph.
We have a photo session now.
Ma'am,
Your session is next.
we thank Dr. Madhu Chandok for doing the honors.